Io capii che Amanda dava più versioni dei fatti, si era
I'd
contraddetta.
understood that Amanda was giving multiple versions of the facts. She had contradicted people, and all the sources at that time told me that she had never given a linear story.
Un racconto lineare.
It was Amanda who broke on the evening of November 5th. It's 8 p.m. The student from Seattle is sitting in front of police investigator Rita Ficarra. With them are two other women, including an interpreter. Amanda says she wants to collaborate, suggests some names, some friends of Meredith. She scrolls through her cell phone's address book. There's Peter, a Swiss boy, Juve, who works part-time at the pub Le Chic, Spiros, a Greek boy, Patrick, the owner of the same pub. 7 names in total. For each of them she provides a cell phone number and address. In another wing of the police headquarters, Raffaele Sollecito is answering questions from Inspector Monica Napoleoni and another pair of colleagues. Until now, Sollecito had always said they returned together to his house on Via Garibaldi and stayed there until the next day. But on November 5th, his story changes.
Lui dice, io finora ho detto...
This is what he said to me. Up until now I've told you, and I'll tell you the exact words he used, a whole lot of bullshit, because it was Amanda who made me say it, because I was at my house that night. She wasn't there and came back to my house at 1:30 in the morning. And he understood well that a statement like that is a kind of call. It's an accusation against Amanda. At 1:30 in the morning the crime had already been committed, let's be clear.
Nei confronti di Ama 1:30 il delitto era stato già fatto, sia chiaro.
Mignini, who will lead the investigation into Meredith's death along with another magistrate, Manuela Comodi, tells me that Raffaele, that day, admitted to covering for Amanda. Inspector Napoleoni reports all this to Rita Ficarra, who informs the American girl, saying, Raffaele claims that between 8:30 and 9 p.m. you went to the pub Le Chic because you wanted to meet some friends. Then the officers asked her to show her cell phone.
Quando le chiedono di far vedere il cellulare,
When they ask her to show them her cell phone, she loses her mind, because she's already lost her mind. She's understood that he has sold her out, and she wasn't expecting it.
e non se l'aspettava.
She screams. Amanda Knox starts screaming. The investigators press her. They make her read a message, in which, on the evening of Meredith's death, she had written, "We will see each other later." Interpreter Anna Donnino will say that when she was shown the reply message, Amanda had a real emotional shock. She immediately put her hands over her ears, shaking her head, hunching her shoulders, and saying, "It's him. It's him. It was him. I can feel it." Who is Amanda Knox talking about?
Murder in Perugia. An exclusive 7-part podcast series by investigative journalist Antonio Giovanni. Episode 2, Amanda's Truth and Lies.
Patrick Lumumba is 44 years old, comes from Congo, has lived in Italy since 1988, and is the owner of the pub Le Chic. In an interview with a local TV station, you notice his smile. From November 2007, he would no longer be smiling. Amanda Knox explains that she sent that message to him.
Lei racconta che c'era stato questo scambio di messaggi.
She says there had been this exchange of messages with Lumumba. She says Lumumba had told her not to go to the pub Le Chic because there was no one there that evening. And she replies, "Okay, see you later, a dopo." But in English, see you later, because it necessarily means the same day. She replies in Italian, but she's thinking in English. That's the point.
Lei risponde in italiano, questo è il punto, ma pensa in inglese.
This is the first time the Congolese musician appears in this story. He himself will reconstruct that exchange of messages before the magistrates.
Ciao Amanda, penso che stasera...
Hi Amanda, I think tonight, because it's Sunday, there aren't many people. It would be better if you didn't come tonight and came on Tuesday. She replied, thanks, see you later, see you later.
Grazie, ci vediamo dopo, ci vediamo più tardi.
When shown the exchange, Amanda screams again, saying he was the one who killed Meredith. She makes two statements, which are recorded. Despite Patrick telling her she wasn't needed at work, the American woman says she still met him after 9 p.m. in Piazza Grimana. We went to my house. Patrick and Meredith went to Meredith's room and had sex, while I stayed in the kitchen.
Lei non dice io ero con Lumumba quando Lumumba...
She doesn't say I was with Lumumba when Lumumba killed her. I was outside. He was in Meredith's room, and she didn't follow him. She says she stayed in the living room. The living room was in front of the entrance.
Di fronte all'ingresso.
At one point, Amanda says, I heard Meredith screaming. I got scared and I covered my ears. I vaguely remember that he killed her. Amanda adds that she doesn't remember if Raffaele was also there that evening. It's 6 in the morning and it's done. The police are convinced they've closed the case. They call Mignini.
Amanda voleva parlare con me.
Amanda wanted to talk to me, so I let her talk. She said she was tired and asked if she could take a nap at the police station. They let her sit across 3 chairs and put a blanket over her. They let her stay a while and then took her to have breakfast at the police station cafe. I went to speak with the chief police inspector to make sense of it all. I realized that there were clues, big clues, against all 3 of them.
Grossi indizi a carico di tutti e 3.
Judge Claudia Mattaini confirmed the arrest of Amanda and Raffaele. And shortly thereafter, Patrick Lumumba was also arrested. Preliminary hearings for the suspects took place 2 days later. Attorney Pacelli, representing Lumumba, questioned his client.
Senta Patrick, allora la sera...
Listen Patrick, so on the evening between the 1st and the 2nd of November from 8 p.m. until 1 o'clock, so practically after midnight, until 1 o'clock in the morning, were you always at the pub?
Yes.
Did you go to Amanda's house?
No.
Do you deny having killed Meredith?
I deny it.
You firmly protest your innocence?
I am innocent. God knows.
Thank you, Judge.
Sono innocente, Dio lo sa.
Grazie giudice.
C'è altrettanto grande tristezza per una giovane che ha trovato la morte.
There is both great sadness for a young woman killed and great satisfaction from the Perugia police for having provided the answers that perhaps not everyone expected, especially in such a short time. The press kept demanding to know more. We felt the weight of the responsibility of a city that wanted an answer and wanted it immediately.
Una risposta certa e la voleva subito.
On the same day of Lumumba's arrest, the police commissioner of Perugia, Arturo De Felice, summoned the press to tell them that we know who is responsible for Meredith Kircher's death.
Non starò qui a ringraziare abbastanza.
I cannot stand here and thank enough all those who in these investigations have demonstrated not just their professionalism, but also their moral commitment.
Morale.
Amanda and Raffaele, according to the reconstruction of the preliminary investigation judge, met Lumumba in Piazza Grimana and went to the apartment at Via della Pergola, a few meters away. Meredith, who had spent the afternoon with her friends, arrived around 9 p.m. Patrick and Meredith went off alone. Sollecito also wanted to join in, but Meredith refused. A statement released by the Perugia prosecutor's office identified the alleged perpetrator's intent to sexually abuse the victim and her subsequent resistance. They wanted to rape Meredith, but the English girl's resistance would lead to murder. The murder weapon was a switchblade that Raffaele always carries with him. The three then faked a robbery and fled, throwing away the victim's cell phone. The case is closed. So much so that even Italy's Interior Minister Giuliano Amato sealed the police reconstruction with this statement. Friends attempted to force her into relationships she didn't want to have, and she was killed.
Era palese che si dovesse arrivare ad un risultato.
It was clear that a result had to be achieved, not just for the press or for public opinion. But in any case, yes, the police were under a lot of pressure. They were committing all their energy and resources into it. And the fact that they were able to call a press conference to announce arrests was significant for them.
Significativo per loro.
Elsa Vinci of La Repubblica newspaper recalls the satisfaction of the police. Amanda, Raffaele, and Patrick are the three guilty parties and are now in prison. And there's the evidence to prove it. On Meredith's sheets, there's also a size 10 Nike shoe print, compatible with Raffaele's size. On November 8, 2 days after the arrest, investigating judge Claudia Matteini asked him about this fact.
I don't understand how my shoe prints could be on Meredith's sheets, because for me it's not possible. I never touched those blankets or those sheets. So listen, I didn't enter that room. Those shoe prints, I don't know, I wasn't wearing those sneakers that day. Someone must have taken them from me, what can I say? Or whoever killed her must have had the same ones as me. They are very common sneakers.
But the investigating judge insists. How can we explain the presence of his shoe print near the body?
He must have had the same sneakers, the same shoe size. There are so many coincidences.
I understand, Madam Judge, but I already told you that I did not enter that room those 2 days. I am beyond sure of that.
Raffaele claims to have been in front of his computer for a long time that evening. But according to the judges, there was no human-computer interaction between 9:10 p.m. and 5:32 a.m. What is certain is that a film was playing on Sollecito's computer.
Questo film volevo farlo vedere perché il mio film preferito.
I wanted to show him this movie because it's my favorite movie. And he said, "Come on." Ah, that's Amelie.
Quello Il mondo favoloso di Amélie.
Amanda, in her statement, says she watched Amélie before receiving Patrick's message at 8:18 p.m., while Sollecito claims the film actually began at 9:10 p.m. According to the judges, 9:10 p.m. is the time the film ends. And the fact that the computer reactivated at 5:32 a.m. is a sign for the judge that it was a rather restless night. But what did they do after the film? According to the two defendants' reconstruction, Amanda read the German version of Harry Potter to Raffaele. But then why did Raffaele on November 5th claim that Amanda had gone out on the night of the crime while he had stayed home? Judge Matteini starts over again.
Amanda quella sera è uscita?
Did Amanda go out that night?
I'm not sure.
Don't you remember if Amanda went out that night?
Seriously, Madam Judge, since she wasn't there the night before and other nights as well, I don't remember exactly.
I'm not interested in what happened on other nights. I want to know if Amanda went out that night.
I can't say, I don't remember.
These are the three options. You don't remember exactly. He doesn't remember.
Non ricordo esattamente.
Non ricorda.
But the preliminary investigation's judge continues. Why did Raffaele say on November 5th that Amanda had left?
Io quel giorno ero molto agitato, soprattutto per la...
That day I was very nervous, especially because of the pressure. All of the officers were asking me questions because they were very insistent with me. They kept saying, "We don't want to hear any bullshit, be careful what you say." Then they accused me repeatedly too. They were putting a lot of pressure on me, and so I can say that I don't remember exactly when Amanda went out or if she went out. I told her before that I don't remember.
Se è uscita, io le ho detto prima che non ricordo.
Sollecito is lost, confused, contradicts himself, and doesn't answer the question. Claudia Matteini persists for several minutes, trying to bring Raffaele back to the heart of the matter. Why did he lie on November 5th?
Perché ho fatto confusione. Comunque...
Because I got confused anyway when she went out. I don't remember exactly if she went out, I can't say. Because when I made that statement, I meant in the vicinity of my house anyway. I said that day, the day before, I had used marijuana several times. I mean in the sense...
Marijuana, in short, had obscured Raffaele's memory, making him unable to remember which day Amanda left or didn't leave. But there's another point that just doesn't add up. Sollecito and Knox have always said that when the two postal police officers arrived on Via della Pergola, they had already called the Carabinieri Polisei. Yet the phone records say otherwise. The postal police officers arrived at 12:35 p.m. The Carabinieri calls were made at 12:51 and 12:54, and the investigating judge, Claudia Matteini, pointed this out to Sollecito.
Senta, ma la sua telefonata al 112 è precedente?
Did your call to the 112 emergency line come before or after the arrival of these postal police officers?
Before.
Because from the findings that have been made, the postal police officers arrived almost 10 minutes before you called 112. Are you convinced of the contrary?
I remember well that I called them before.
Do you remember calling them before they arrived?
I remember calling them before.
Mi ricordo che li ho chiamati prima.
Why did Raffaele say that when the officers arrived, they were waiting for the Carabinieri police? Amanda's position is also shaky. There was a wiretap in Capanne prison on November 17, 2007, when her parents went to visit the American girl.
You're okay? What do you mean, okay?
Amanda tells her parents she has to tell the truth, that she was there at the apartment.
That's stupid. Yeah. I mean, I can't say anything else other than the truth because I know I was there. I mean, I can't lie about this. There's no reason for me to.
She has to say she was there. Listening to these words, it practically sounds like a confession. And then again, why did Amanda, as the phone records reveal, call her mother unanswered at 3 a.m. Seattle time, when Meredith's body hadn't yet been discovered? Her mother also asked her this question on the prison visit in a wiretap conversation on November 10th.
Why? You called me 3 times.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. You called me once, telling me...
I was in shock, honestly.
But that was before anything had really happened other than the house.
Amanda says she was in shock. But the first call, the mother reminds her, was before everything happened. But there's more. Filippo Capruzzi, the collaborator of the Erasmus Office for the University for Foreigners of Perugia, who we have already met in the prior episode, will add another detail that one of Meredith's friends, Natalie Hayward, reported to him.
La cosa che emerge un po' strana è il fatto.
What is a bit strange is the fact that one of them, I don't know if it was Natalie or someone else, said, let's just hope she didn't suffer. And the strange thing is that to this statement, Amanda responded that with a wound like that, she must have suffered.
Prima di morire, quindi ha detto ha sofferto.
How did Amanda know Meredith had suffered? How could she have known the type of injuries if the autopsy results hadn't come back yet? And then the investigators asked themselves, why, while waiting to speak in the waiting room of the police station during questioning, did she say, I found Meredith?
I got home and found Meredith, and after that, I've been here all day. I'm here for more than 12 hours.
Amanda's claim to have been the first to find Meredith is also confirmed by Jade Bidwell, a friend of the victim who had met Knox at the police station. She says she had heard her say something strange.
I'm certain that I heard Amanda say that she was found in the wardrobe, covered in a blanket, and then I was certain that I heard her say that she found her, but then afterwards I realised that couldn't have been true because the police said that they had been the ones to find.
Amanda, the British girl says, had claimed to be the first to find Meredith's body in a closet, with a blanket over her.
In a blanket in the wardrobe?
Ah, disse che l'aveva vista lei.
Did she say that she saw her?
I'm certain that yes.
Ah, she said he saw her. Magistre Mignini pressed on. Yes, Amanda said she saw Meredith. When the door was broken down, however, the American girl and Raffaele were in the kitchen, nowhere near the room, and subsequently everyone who was there was ordered to leave. Meredith's friend Amy Frost also says, I remember Amanda saying Meredith was in the closet, wrapped in a blanket. I don't remember if she said she saw Meredith. I remember her saying Meredith was in the closet, wrapped in a blanket. Then there is a particular gesture that makes Giuliano Mignini even more suspicious when he returns with Amanda to the house for an inspection.
Siamo andati a vedere dei coltelli e a un certo
We went to look at some knives, and at a certain point there was a gesture of Amanda's that kept coming back. She would put her open hands, her palms, to her ears. She wanted to erase from her memory a scream that she'd heard. Otherwise it makes no sense, and she did it often. She would hit her hands over her ears, and I even remember that at one point she almost fainted and we had to take her to the emergency room.
Abbiamo dovuto portarla al pronto soccorso.
And finally, there are two definitive pieces of evidence. These are a clasp from Meredith's bra found in her room and the knife found in Sollecito's house. Genetic material from Meredith and Raffaele was found on the clasp. Amanda's genetic profile is on the knife handle. Meredith's is on the blade. The American television series When They See Us tells the true story of a girl attacked and raped while jogging in New York's Central Park. She remained in a coma for 12 days. 5 teenagers were in the park at the time of the assault, 4 black and 1 Hispanic, and were questioned separately without the presence of lawyers.
Who you were in the park with?
I don't know names. I just got lost.
Where did you see the lady?
One lady.
The female jogger was severely beaten and raped.
The investigators' questions become increasingly pressing, suggestive. The interrogations exhausting. The investigators exploit the young men's fragility. They frighten them. Until the final collapse, when the anguish rises to the point that, just to put an end to the torment, confessions are made. 4 were convicted. Corey Wise, already an adult, served 13 years in prison. The other 3 served sentences between 6 and 8 years. Investigators had used the so-called read technique, historically used by American police to extract confessions. It involves literally exhausting the suspects, weakening their resistance through lengthy and grueling interrogations, and influencing their reconstructions.
They saw you rape the lady.
I didn't see a lady or hit anyone. I didn't see any lady.
Kevin.
I didn't see any lady.
I want to see my son right now, right now.
I've told this story because during the investigation into the Perugia murder, American investigative journalist Nina Burley would call into question the Reed method, denouncing the treatment she says Amanda was subjected to. It would be one of many harsh accusations by American journalists and politicians against the Italian justice system. And here's how Amanda tells it. The day after the Seattle girl accused Lumumba, Amanda wrote a memoir in which she claimed she had only imagined her presence at the scene. On November 10, 2007, speaking to her mother in prison, she explained that a police officer had asked her to name someone. "I'm the only one who can save you," and I replied, "I don't know." So they showed me the message, "See you later," and I said, "Patrick."
And then I thought of seeing Patrick, and I think I just totally spazzed out and imagined seeing him.
And then I thought about Patrick, seeing Patrick. I think I've completely lost my mind. And I imagined seeing him near the basketball court, and then in my house. I imagined that it had happened like that, in the kitchen. Because I could hear her screaming, but it's not true, it's not. I imagined it. In 5 days, Amanda was heard for a total of 53 hours and 45 minutes. The American girl will declare that they called her stupid liar and would have to spend 30 years in prison if she didn't confess. "I'm feeling sick," she will say on November 4th, intercepted while waiting to be heard.
University here and said, can she skip a few classes because the police are questioning her for hours on end, but...
They were yelling at me. I only slept 2 hours last night. I'm very stressed. On June 13th, 2009, in court, before the prosecutors, she described that interrogation as follows.
Forse tu devi provare di ricordare qualcos'altro.
Maybe you need to try to remember something else. Try to recall these other memories that you've obviously lost somehow. You need to try to remember. So I was standing there, just thinking, what have I forgotten? I've forgotten something. Okay, I'm thinking, what did I forget? What did I forget? So come on, remember. Boom, on my head. Oh God, remember. Then, boom, remember. Sorry, please, here, sorry.
Ricordi, boom, sulla testa, ricordati, io, mamma mia, e poi boom, ricordi.
In the courtroom, Amanda mimes 2 blows to the back of the neck, which she will later define as 2 slaps. In June 2019, the former Seattle student will return to Italy to tell her version of events at the Mantua Criminal Justice Festival, speaking in flawless Italian.
Per 5 giorni sono stata sottoposta ad oltre 50 ore di interrogatori.
For 5 days, I was subjected to over 50 hours of interrogation at night and without a lawyer in a foreign language that I then spoke like a child. The police insisted that I was lying when I said again and again that I didn't know who killed Meredith. And when they discovered a message on my cell phone sent to Patrick Lumumba, they accused me of meeting him and suggested, during the hours of questioning, that I had repressed the traumatic memory of seeing him kill Meredith.
Traumatico di averlo visto uccidere Meredith.
Here is Knox, speaking during a 2022 seminar with the U.S. National Association of Media Literacy Education.
I was somebody who had something bad happen to them, and I didn't really have a lot of say and a lot of agency in the equation. What I had hoped for, and what I think would have been a more responsible way to cover this case, would have been, first of all, to spend way more attention on the person who actually murdered Meredith, but also on the police officers and the detectives who were bungling this case. I thought that of all the people, there was all of this attention sort of focused on me and what did I do and what was I saying, what was I wearing that day, and what are my eyes looking like? Am I crying or am I not crying? And all of these questions ultimately were not the things that were going to make or break this case.
Knox, of course, has spent much of the past decade offering her version of events in the American and British media, including a new 8-part series released in 2025 called The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox that she co-produced. It is advertised as being inspired by actual events. For the actual events themselves, Giuliano Mignini was not present when Amanda was interviewed. He has spoken to Meredith's friends and had returned home, and he admits that the conditions for the American girl were not the best.
In quei giorni, di fronte a un caso così eclatante, la squadra...
In those days, faced with such a sensational case, our police investigators mobilized completely, and that the interrogation form for Amanda, or rather even the arrest report for Amanda, was signed by I don't know how many people, about 30 policemen. So in closed room, about 30 people asking you pressing questions, one after the other. She certainly found herself in great difficulty.
Questa sicuramente si è trovata in grossa difficoltà.
But for Mignini, Amanda was not physically assaulted.
Ma non è emerso, lei lo dice, probabilmente qualcuno che passava dietro che l'ha urtata inavvertitamente.
But it didn't come out, she says. Probably someone passing behind her who inadvertently bumped into her. I wasn't there, but some people in America tried to say I was there.
Qualcuno in America ha fatto finta che io ci fossi.
We will return to the presence of the American press and public opinion in the Meredith case. In 2013, Amanda appealed to the European Court of Human Rights, seeking more than 2.7 million euros in compensation from the Italian state. She complained of degrading and inhuman treatment. She complained of being interviewed without a lawyer. And finally, she complained that the interpreter had not acted independently. Anna Donnino, faced with Amanda's difficulty remembering, told her that she had broken her leg in an accident and due to the trauma could no longer remember what had happened. According to Amanda's lawyers, she had thus suggested that because she was traumatized, she couldn't remember the facts properly, and so she had to try to remember something else. The accusations against Patrick would have arisen in a climate of intense psychological pressure, but those against Lumumba, as it would soon be discovered, were flimsy accusations, recalls Elsa Vinci.
Gli avvocati ci dissero subito che lui non c'entrava niente.
The lawyers immediately told us that he had nothing to do with it, that evening he had been in his club, Le Chic, and could easily prove this fact.
Questo fatto.
At the presumed time of the crime, between 9 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., Patrick says he did not move from Le Chic, and he had the proof.
Ha detto che poteva esibire gli scontrini.
He said he could show the receipts that the lawyers then brought back stamped from the cash register. He was the manager, so he was at the register. He named some guys who were there that evening.
Che quella sera erano lì.
Many people come to testify in his favor. In front of the judge, Patrick then mentions one person in particular.
C'era un professore.
There was a Swiss professor. He was sitting in front of the bar and I was talking to him for a long time.
Che abbiamo parlato anche a lungo con lui.
The Swiss professor is tracked down and confirms Patrick's alibi. That evening they had discussed, among other things, Italy's economic crisis and the Congolese political crisis. And not only that. And what about that? Ci vediamo dopo. We will see each other later. For the investigators, it was referring to a possible meeting to commit the crime. But since Patrick didn't know English, Amanda had simply translated the formula into Italian in her head. See you later, which in English indicates a generic, see you next time. Lumumba will be released from prison after 14 days.
Patrick, allora come stai?
Sto bene.
I thank God very much for helping me get home.
Sì, ringrazio molto Dio, che mi ha aiutato a tornare a casa.
Already, Italian police are hunting for another suspect, the fourth suspect in the murder in Perugia. He, however, is no longer in Italy.
Murder in Perugia is a podcast by Antonio Giovane. The English language edition is a co-production of One Podcast and World Crunch, with editorial supervision by Anna Silvia Zippel and Jeff Israeli. Production support Paolo Prosperini, Giacomo Aloisi, Emma Albright, Erwan Isanchou, and Laurie Gaucher. Post-production and automated voice matching of Antonio Giovane's English narration by Audio.